Hello and welcome back. Let's go to the chapter 3, analyze and store logs. Roll the intro. And as usual, that's quite enough. So let's jump right in. So basically nowadays we have two ways to check our logs, to facilities, to authors, to mechanisms, to whatever services, if you prefer to call it like that. You have the traditional and the one that's been with us for the longest time, which is the system, kind of the de facto standard in a way, which is the syslogd. And what do you mean by that? So you know this for sure. You go to the varlog folder. You go to the varlog folder and you find all of these files. For example, you have the just these type things. I've just blah 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 blah. You have the varlog messages file. It's one of the many files you can check in this folder location. You have the messages, you have the cron tab, spooler, whatever. And for the longest time, this been like this. So you have here when the event occurred, the machine name, the event writer, the author, and you have here the process ID of that process. Okay, so that's been like this for the longest time. Now it's a good opportunity for you guys to use the grep utility to get that going, and that's pretty standard, man. You just know, appreciate, and understand these file locations and how it works, and everything is just pretty great. How are the files written down here? Who is putting the files here? Well, it's the systemd service. Let's gather all together on the config file. So etc syslogd. I'm sorry, it's called rsyslogd.conf. So there was a switch from syslogd to rsyslogd. This switch happened more than 10 years ago, but I'm still there, you know what I mean? So let's go into that. I'm not going to bother you much with many details, just for you guys to understand how this works and you have success in your exam. So let's go here to this section called rules. Okay, let's go to the rules section, and this is going to contain, guess what? Yeah, rules. So these rules are going to tell or instruct the rsyslogd service where to put the files and why. So in here you can see you have two pieces of information. You have one piece of information and two pieces of information. These are called facility and severities. Let me get that information for you guys. I'm just opening a Google page. So facility and severity syslog. And there is a Wikipedia article that you can check out, and Shazam. So if you go to I just Googled for it, you can find it anywhere. But this page and Wikipedia, it's worth what it's worth. So I'm just going to show you guys a couple examples. Let's check the severity first. So if I go here, you see that you have here something that is called info, for example. Other examples can be like emerge, crit. What does this mean? Well, every syslog message is categorized. This has a category, English, that is going to tell us the level of importance, in a way, of the message. You can go from 0 to 7. Obviously, 0 is emergency, 1 is alert, 2 is critical, 3 is error, 4 is warning, 5 is notification, 6 is informational set, 7 is debug. So 0 emergency, 1 alert, 2 critical, 3 error, 4 warning, 5 notification, 6 informational, 7 it's debug. So this is going to allow us and the application and the service to give a category to the information, to the level of seriousness, in a way, of the information. Emergency is really bad. Notice is just informational. 6 is information. 7 is just information. So I would say that anything below 4 requires attention. Anything above 4 It's just for information's sake. So that's exactly what this means. It means that emergency messages are going to here. This means everywhere, every telnet session, every SSH session, every console session, everywhere. And now you kind of get the gist of it. So this is where the files are getting written down to, where, and the type of category it has. So every informational message is going to do messages, every mail related, because the left-hand side refers to the facility, and the facility is the author of the message. Here I have some examples: kernel, user, mail daemons, and some customizable stuff. So don't forget something. I don't think I said that, so I say it now. Syslog, it's a very standard logging facility or logging mechanism. It's Syslog, it's the same for Cisco, Microsoft, whatever the case, Linux, blah, blah, blah. So for example, for Linux, 4 is a warning. For Cisco, 4 is also a warning, and so on and so forth. So this means the same for any vendor. So all of this means the same whatever the vendor is using it. Here, there's some flexibility of the author, but it's always the same thing. When you see a syslog message, it's the author dot the importance level, severity level, which means that these type of messages are going there, these type are going there, these type are going there, etc., etc., etc. So mail messages are going there, cron messages are going there, emergency messages are going everywhere, and critical messages are going there, and all of that good stuff. So they can go to 2 different files. So everything goes to the messages, but except the criticals that go to a different file. You can tailor this as your liking. You can tailor this as many times and as detailedly as you wish. Do I touch this very often? Actually not. No. I think at the production level, I think I touched this a couple of times. There's something really specific to something. I don't even remember what it was in detail, but because syslog is also an internal mechanism. Okay, syslog is also an internal thing, which means that a service can write to a log internally or through the kernel. So it doesn't have to actually have something written down in this file to be able to write log files through syslog. So I think I have touched this a couple of times in production. The defaults usually are pretty decent and pretty good to go. All right, pretty simple stuff. I rarely or ever touch it, but I will show you a couple of things that can be interesting. For example, syslog allows us to write through the network, which means that I can write to a remote server. I mean, for example, this is my Rocky 1 server, and I can write this to Rocky 2. Let's do it the other way around. We have not used Rocky 2 all that much, have we? So let's go to Rocky 2. Let's get ourselves some root privileges. Of course, I mistyped the password the first time I tried to write it down. Cool. And now I am on the Rocky 2 server, and let me just set up my Rocky 2 server so that every syslog messages is copied through the network to Rocky 1. And the procedure is done as follows. So I'm going to the same file. This I don't have VIM installed on Rocky 2, which is fine. And if you go to the very end, this is not correct. This is not the correct configuration. But you have open a line. You don't have to put it in the end. You don't have to put it in the end. I just like to put it in the end because I'm like that. So let's create a comment for our reference. Remote logging. You don't have to do this. This is just for comfort. Okay. And now this is what we do. You're going to put, for example, star.star. All severities and all facilities are going to be copied to Rocky 1. I could be a little bit more care and more detail about this, but I'm going to send everything that I can just to make things a little bit simpler. Then you can have a 1 @ or 2 @ I'm going to put this as a comment. 2 @ is a TCP connection. if you put one @ symbol, come on, it's a UDP connection. And if you don't know what TCP and UDP is, TCP, it's a reliable connection. UDP, it's a non-reliable connection. And since this has little to no cost in my systems, I'm going to use TCP. It's fine. Then I'm going to type in my host, the other one, the Rocky1's host name. And I'm going to type in the TCP port 514 is the default one. Okay. So this basically means that Rocky2 is going to send all facilities in all severities to the Rocky1 server through port TCP, TCP 414. All right. That's as simple as that. Very simple configuration. And I'm going to write and quit out of this. Now I'm going to the Rocky1, which is the receiving server. On the receiving server, I'm going to find the section that's called, let me see. There we have this one here. Provides TCP syslog reception. I'm going to uncomment these two lines. These are going to enable receiving of remote syslog connection. So Rocky1 is writing to, Rocky2 is writing to Rocky1. Rocky2 is, I'm telling Rocky2 to write to Rocky1, and Rocky1 is accepting those connections. Now I'm going to write and going to quit. I'm just going to ping Rocky1 just to make sure that the network it's okay. I know it is, but you never know. So Rocky1, yeah, everything is pinging fine. Now, since I have changed a configuration file on both servers, I need to restart the service to apply the changes. So systemctl restart rsyslog. Oops, sorry. There's a Q there. I don't know why. Cool. So systemctl restart rsyslog. I don't have autocomplete on Rocky2. That's why I'm not being able to complete with the tab key, which is fine. So they are both restarted, which means that I'm telling Rocky2 to write to Rocky1, and I told Rocky1 to accept connections from Rocky2. So I didn't say Rocky2 specifically. I said just accept connections, and that's fine. I could if I wanted to, but I'm not. I'm accepting connections from everywhere else, which means let's check the varlog messages. So the last message is this one, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I don't care. So let's force a new logging line with a tool called logger. I'm going to say hi there. The logger utility is going to write logs. Okay. Sorry. So the logger is going to force a log entry, and by default it's informational. That's why it's going to messages. And getting this message saying cannot connect route to host, which means that I'm writing to my local file, but it's impossible for me to write to the remote file. I'm unable to connect to my remote Syslog server. All right, and having this connection, which means that I will not see a Rocky2 var log messages. I'm not seeing the hi from Rocky2, but there's an explanation, no route to hosts. So Rocky2 is giving me an error saying that I cannot connect to Rocky1 with the no route to host message. So I'm going to give you guys a few seconds if you want to do that, or else just fast forward to the solution. You can just think about what you think is causing this no route to host. Okay, what do you think is causing this no route to host message from Rocky2 to Rocky1? I have made the changes. Okay, I have made the changes, and I'm getting a no route to host when connecting from Rocky2 to Rocky1. So the service is trying to connect, but I'm getting a no route to host. What do you think is causing this? All right, let me share with you the solution. It's the firewall system. So let's go to firewall CMD. Minus list all zones. You have seen firewall in the previous chapter, so go there and go to RH124, like and subscribe, and see what I'm doing this. I'm grabbing the public, and I'm going to do the before, the after. Let's go before 10, after 10 to get the context. And I don't see the firewall for TCP port enabled, so let's do firewall CMD. -- add port 514 TCP permanent, and reload firewall CMD -- reload. There we go. Let's try this. Let's see if we can get anything. And there we go. I typed hi there from Rocky 2. And on Rocky 1, I see the hi there message. Now, most messages that are getting written down to Rocky 2 system folder are getting copied to Rocky 1 system folder, or log folder, better said, sorry. Which means that if something is to happen to Rocky 2, if something wrong happens to Rocky 2 and he dies, I have a full copy in Rocky 1. Now, we can tailor this a little bit better. It can go to a separate folder, Yeah, this can be worked to be more efficient. Yes, we can, but I will just leave it as that. Now you know how Rocky 1 or the other way around, you can mirror this configuration and they get kind of a cooperation going between the two. And so if one server dies, you have a copy of the system logs on the other server. So it's actually nice to have a copy of the log files on a different physical server, so you can actually recover the log files and see what causes the issue in a different server. All right. Nowadays, you also have a thing called systemd log files. So let's use a tool called journalctl. Journalctl is going to show me also a similar rsyslog system log. It uses the same facilities and severities, but it's written down, it's maintained by a different service. This is not maintained by the rsyslogd. This is maintained by the systemd himself. Okay, so which means that it's a different architecture, a different thing getting the log files. They are getting written down to the run log journal folder. I'm sorry, which means that this utility, it's getting its information from here, not from here. Okay, so basically we have two people now writing and showing us logs. You have the systemd log files and you have the rsyslogd. We have these two guys doing that for us. Okay, so they should have similar information, but getting written down by two different facilities. rsyslogd writes down here, and they are simple text files that have been with us for the longest time. All is fine, all is great, all is dandy. Okay, but rsyslogd now, which is part of the syslogd subsystem, it has its own logging scenario, or his own logging stuff. Okay, the thing is, these files that are written down here are not text files. Okay, this is not a text file. This is a binary file, because it's being maintained by the systemd, and because the reason is this tool here, it's much more effective than the text files. For example, here I'm searching for every message that has severity level 5 or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. Good thing we don't see 2s or 1s, because if you remember, they were kind of the critical ones. But this is a binary file. This file is binary because it's tailored to be very searchable. Very searchable. Okay? While the other ones that are on a var log message folder, for example, are text files. Very hard. I'm sorry, not this one. Where is it? This one. These files are text files, which means they are very hard to search and to use as a baseline for searching stuff. You can use grep, AWK, and all of that stuff, yes, but it's very hard to do to find a thing or occurrence in a text file. While the other ones, the ones that are maintained by the journal, are binary, which means they are formatted to be searched. For example, searching is just an option of other things. So even though they are binary, which means they cannot be edited or manipulated by text utilities, they are very optimized to be searchable. Okay, so at this point you have the choice to use either one or the other. You are good to go. You are fine. You are A-okay. There's a possibility that our text files are going to be replaced completely by the binary ones, but at this point are just rumors. But it may happen in the future, maybe on the next 15 years or so, something like that. I think to be noticed, they're going to make this in a format of a question. By looking at the location of this file, if you went through the RH124 course, you should remember this. If you don't, go and check it out, the whole playlist, and come back here. And of course, like and subscribe. You check this out here. By being on the run folder, what idea does this give you? By being on the run folder, what this gives you as an idea? What you think it can be a possible consequence by being on the run folder? 3, 2, 1. By being on the run folder, it means that the run folder is cleared on every reboot, which means that the systemd log files are getting, the binary ones, are getting deleted and recreated in every reboot. So every reboot will cause a rewrite of the run folder. Every reboot will cause a rewrite of the run folder. Okay, which means that it's a new fresh log every time. You don't have it can be configured to be permanent, to be written down to the varlog message, not the message, sorry. It can be configured to be written down to the varlog folder to be permanent. I will not show you this because it's just a procedure. You would go to a file and swap some values and you are done. I will put this in the description down below so you can keep it as a reference. But you can get the systemd log file to be permanent if you wish, and it will survive every reboot. But the most common action to do it nowadays for the most common system admins is that we will stick with the text files for more long term, and for immediate search we do the systemd journald. But that's just me. I will put the procedure down below. You can follow it along. It's pretty simple, and you have a permanent log file also on the journald systemd log files. That was the analysis of system log files in this configuration. Chapter 3. Let us subscribe if you have any. Let us subscribe. It really helps. Put in the comments down below if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel to grow and get these videos more out there for more people. Well, once again, like and subscribe. It really helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.